Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Jay. This is Comfy Fat. Thanks for tuning in. I'm trying something different where I just kind of talk to the camera and see how it goes. I haven't really decided how I'm going to talk about this. I asked folks on my Instagram if they'd be interested in learning a little bit about what I mean when I say that I experience gender dysphoria. Specifically, how I experience gender dysphoria while I am on my period. If that is a topic that bothers you, talking about bleeding or menstruation or whatever, feel free to not watch. That's okay. I'm just gonna try to talk about it in the least gendered terms that I know, but for some it's probably still TMI, and that's fine. To start off, I guess I'll just say I am non-binary. I do identify as trans at the same time because being trans to me means not identifying with the gender that I was assigned at birth, which is female. I was assigned by a doctor the term female based on chromosomes and genitalia that I was born with, my body makeup. It's all bullshit. I say I'm non-binary and I am non-binary, which means that I don't feel most authentically myself when I am placed in any category like male or female. I exist outside of the binary. So what dysphoria is, gender dysphoria is something that trans folks face, not always, but a lot of the time. Gender dysphoria is the distress that a person experiences as a result of the sex and gender that they were assigned at birth, and the fact that their gender identity does not align with what they were assigned at birth. So it's dysphoria is the stress that you feel most commonly about your body. I don't really know how to talk about this, so I'm just going to try to talk about my personal experience. So the dysphoria that I experience comes in the form of panic and anxiety. It's more than discomfort. It's more than just like if you scrape your knee while it's healing, it might be itchy or feel weird with pants on or something, and that's discomfort. Dysphoria to me feels unbearable, and I wouldn't say that I experience it to the extent that a lot of people do. A lot of trans folks deal with dysphoria a lot more than I do. It could possibly be the reason that people go forward with medical transition. Sometimes it's not. I try really hard to not use blanket statements to talk about the whole trans community because I'm not the one spokesperson for all trans people. So I'm doing my best. I'm also open to suggestions of terms that work better for people for me to say for me to use when I talk about this, because I really don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing. And I never want to be triggering or bothersome or offensive or hurtful to anybody. To start off, I guess I'll just say I have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. It doesn't always mean that there are cysts on your ovaries. It basically just means that there's a chemical imbalance and your metabolism is kind of fucked up, and I'm not really going to get into PCOS and what that means. What it does mean though is it oftentimes means irregular periods. When I was 16, I noticed I would get my period pretty frequently, more than every 28 days, every 2 weeks or so. And they would last kind of long. So I got on birth control when I was 16, and for 10 years I stayed on that birth control, and it made my period very regular. I could expect it to be there 28 days on a Thursday morning and have it be very light and not a problem, and it would be over by Sunday, and that was really great. And then I recently realized that I was 26 and that it had been officially 10 years, and maybe I should see what my body is like on its own, because bodies change. 10 years is a long time, and so I stopped taking it. For the first 3 months or so, it was inconsistent. Basically, it would show up pretty early at any sign of stress or something. I would start bleeding, and that sucked, but it wasn't super heavy. It was still kind of the way I had experienced it for the last 10 years. This current time that I started bleeding, first of all, it came very early. It's been 12 days, and it's been pretty fucking gnarly. Just super heavy and uncomfortable. And if you have a period or if you bleed, you might know that it's a very intimate situation as far as using tampons or pads and the cleanup involved, and leaking and it's just a lot, and it requires being very intimate with your body parts a lot of the time. I have cried every single day of those 12 days. I have panicked more than once a day because this go round has required a lot of me. I've been pretty, like, in a pretty bad mood. I've been kind of bitchy, and Chris has been, like, the most amazing, supportive partner I've ever had, and I've still been kind of a bitch. So that's kind of why I haven't, like, posted any videos, or I haven't been super present on Instagram, Twitter, or anything like that, because I've just been, like, kind of moping around and not feeling great, and I feel very lethargic and, like, just I have no energy. I did see a doctor. I'm going back on birth control. Things are gonna be okay, but it's been a rough couple of weeks. I've talked about other things, mostly in writing, that were vulnerable, like why it's hard to shower as a fat person, and dealing with realizing I was non-binary. But I haven't really talked about those things on camera because it's hard. But I asked, and people wanted me to talk about it, so that's basically it. I don't really have, like, solutions for other people. I just think if you have a doctor and you trust your doctor, talk to them when you feel like something's off. It's hard to explain, like, what gender dysphoria feels like. It feels, for me, like I said, it feels like a panic attack. It feels like I feel grossed out by my body parts specifically sometimes, especially recently. I want nothing to do with the bottom half of me right now. I want to shut down all of my, like, reproductive organs or whatever. The whole system. Just kind of want to, like, shut it all down. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be on public. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to be kind to people, which is, I think, kind of uncharacteristic for me. I don't really feel like spreading positivity. I feel stuck. And when I panic, I start hyperventilating and cry, and becomes hard to think, and I just want it to be over. I guess I'm kind of rambling, but that's kind of what I'm going through right now. I appreciate the love and support that I've been getting from folks, and the fact that you want to hear what's going on with me, and, like, that you'll still support me not being totally all figured out. You support me even when I'm a mess, and I love that. So I really, really appreciate that. Anyway, I don't know if I did any of that any justice, but if you're really interested, I would say do some research. If you feel like maybe you're experiencing gender dysphoria, start looking into it and asking people online. If you have friends online who have experienced similar things, reach out and talk to folks. And I definitely suggest therapy, because that shit is A+. I think that's it. Thanks for listening to my little rant. I don't know if this was, like, even really super worth it for you, just listening to me ramble about, like, what's going on with me, but if you're into this, leave me a comment, and let me know. Alright, thanks for watching, friends. Hearts and rainbows. Bye.